folks. Welcome to another episode of Tuesday Night Talks. And now it's brought to you by Des Moines New Age Shopping Community Center as well as Des Moines New Age Radio. I'm your host, Alicia, and what you just saw was the hard-fought, hard-won victory of having a show opening. My poor hubby, Dennis of Theater Genesis Productions, he has fought with getting the Tuesday Night Talk opening up and going. He's lost like 2 or 3 of them. His computer just ate them. It's like, what? He had this really cool one of Stonehenge with lightning coming all through it and everything. Gone. Couldn't get any of it back. So that one was an absolutely awesome product. It was definitely where we needed to be with it. And let's all give him a big hand because, oh my God, he works so hard. I thought he was going to cry one time, but he doesn't cry. Anyways, so yay, I'm so excited. We have an opening. Woohoo! But thank you all for being so patient. I do apologize about last week. Migraines, sick, everything like that. Ugh. And my back almost going out. But happy day. We are back with Tuesday Night Talks. And this time around, I was really thinking hard about what we should cover tonight. And then all of a sudden, a person came into the shop and asked a couple questions. And lo and behold, these are questions I keep getting. I like to come on here, and I do apologize. I am very scattered, so my apologies. But anyway, I like to come on here and resolve questions and topics that I get asked frequently in the shop. I'm going to, I've got comments. Oh, Christina, being soon. Hi, Christina. Hi, hon. Hi, Alicia. Oh, it's so great of you to be here. Thank you. I appreciate you joining me. Joining us, because I've got a few different viewers. Anyways, so the topic tonight is the basics of setting up your sacred space. Some people would call it an altar. I prefer sacred space simply because, and I'm going to turn off these lights because, wow. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can turn off those. Yeah, I like that a little bit better. Sorry, they were starting to give me a headache. So setting up your sacred space, and I'm not going to try and take up too much time tonight, but setting up an altar and a sacred space is something the same, because what you are doing more than anything, you are creating an energy focal point in your home. And that's what this basically is. You're just giving physical form to it. With an altar, it's more used for spell work and ritualistic purposes and things like that, and they're very religious based. A sacred space, on the other hand, which is something that I'm a lot more familiar with, that is just setting up the energy point, and the energy, the intention, the desire, what you're pouring into it, that is what that space is going to be for you, your home, the different people within your home, everything like that. That's what it's going to push out throughout your entire home. But it's going to be that focal nexus in your home. And I said focal, not vocal. Sorry. I just wanted to make sure I didn't slow there. What's going on is with a sacred space, the more energy you put into it, the more you'll get out of it. But even having some place right there in your home that's kind of that next high point, it's amazing, and it does wonders. It's almost like having a shrine somewhere. There was a story a long time ago. This guy, in his neighborhood, there's all kinds of violence and just killings and everything. What he did is it was just a very simple shrine, and I believe it was to Kuan Yin. He put it up on the corner where all the violence was the worst. And all of a sudden, he would leave offerings every day. Every day he would go by and he would leave offerings, and all of a sudden he started to see other offerings. He started to see flowers. He started to see bowls of rice. He started to see all this other stuff. And he realized that the entire neighborhood was actually coming together as a community to stoke these offerings, to change the entire environment. And guess what happened? The environment did change. The violence dropped. The killings dropped significantly. I mean, they didn't disappear completely, obviously, but the energy of the place changed just by one tiny little simple shrine. So on a street corner, no less. So, and I do believe that part of it was the deity that it was dedicated to. It was a deity of peace, but still, it can change everything. And yeah, I had looked into doing something like that at my old location, but it wasn't going to work out. But in your home, you can actually make that energy, that shrine, that divine, that sacred energy, and make a focal point. And that's what I'm talking about today. Now, you're going to be like, oh my God, does it need to be this big thing? No, it does not. Do all the things need to be expensive? No, they do not. So long as they are meaningful and they mean something to you. That is all that matters. With sacred spaces, a lot of people come to me and they might have like one tiny itty bitty little, candle plate, and that's fine. So long as you can put it up somewhere where it's pretty much undisturbed by anybody who's curious. It's okay to invite different people over to look at it or something like that, but you don't want people messing with it and touching with it unless they're very close to you, like your child, or that's about it, really. Sometimes people are okay with their pets coming through it, things like that. But whatever it is, you want it to stay sacred. So respected, undisturbed, singled out. And it can be a shelf on a bookshelf. It can be a drawer. It can be a tiny little nightstand. It can be a TV tray off in the corner where you just light your incense and you light your candle. But you want to develop a ritual kind of almost where you're doing it every day at first. And I will tell you a couple of ways to make this happen for yourself. Now, a lot of people, they go back and forth on what they want on it. They go back and forth on what should be on it. And for me, I say, whatever you want, okay? If you want to do crystals, if you want to do, I always recommend some crystals, some candles, some incense. Always, always, always. Hold on one second. Delia, hi, good evening. Hi, Delia, thanks for joining us. So for me, like on mine, and I would also say always an offering bowl, something, because eventually with this, you're going to get spirits coming in, you're going to get ancestors, you may even get a deity, archangel, angel, spirit guide, whatever it may be. But you want to have that offering bowl. And one thing I checked and I checked and I checked and I dug until I found out. Only leave your offerings up for 2 days unless otherwise instructed, and then toss them out or do whatever you're going to do with them. Anyways, so you want your candles, you want your incense, and it doesn't have to be anything fancy. Go down to the dollar store. Get some dollar store candles, get a dollar store bowl, okay, something pretty, something that, or even something simple and plain. Just get a glass cereal bowl, maybe something smaller if you got a small space. But, get a tiny itty bitty little incense holder. It doesn't matter how fancy it is. This is all about something that is more sacred and devotional to you. And it doesn't have to be one religion either. Heck, it doesn't even have to have a religious aspect. It's just creating that energy nexus for you in your home or personal space. I even know of people who have altars at work, sacred spaces at work. I was very surprised to find that out. I guess I shouldn't be, because my hubby, when we were actually doing vending shows, he made an altar tile for himself and he took it with us. And he would, do his thing before we started the show and everything like that. And I thought that was really amazing. But okay, let's see, drawer, TV table, stuff like that. Now, for me personally, I prefer getting a small cabinet, a freestanding cabinet. Yep, put it in a corner somewhere, and you can research the feng shui on this, everything like that. But for me, I just went with what I felt, the area I felt was best suited for it. And that's actually honestly what I suggest for you to go by the feel. Where it says, hey, put your sacred space here, because it will feel different, So I put up a little cabinet, and I put it together and everything like that. It was a DIY. I think it was a bathroom cabinet supposed to be, but it was perfectly shaped because I knew I wanted a triangular one. And it has doors. And the reason why I like the cabinet part, the doors, is because you can put all your incense, your candles, everything like that in. Sorry, my throat's really dry. You can put all your candles and incense and all your items in there and close the door so it's undisturbed. And you know your stuff is right there. So I love cabinetry for this. But anyway, you put it in the corner and you put up your candle, you put up your incense holder. Oh, one other thing, you want to make sure you get a cloth or something to cover the tray or table or anything with. And I will tell you why. One, it does add to the ambiance of it. It adds to that energy part of it, but it also keeps it clean, because if anything gets spilled on it, anything like that, you can go and wash it. That's why you have a spare. So you have a couple. I know some people, they like to change them with the seasons or with the months or with the zodiac signs or with the moons. It doesn't matter. Whatever you feel most comfortable with. I know one lady, she has her sacred space completely dedicated to the moon. And that's a really pretty one. That's another thing, though. When you have your altar in sacred space, don't share it on social media. Don't take pictures of it. Don't be flashing it around. And I'm going to tell you why. That is just for you. That is a very private part of your home. And it's kind of like showing energy portals to people that are in your personal home. Some less reputable people actually use those for very nefarious purposes. So keep your sacred space private. Always. Only ever. Now, if you want to take a picture and share it with a friend or something like that, but just let them know, hey, don't put this out anywhere. It would be one thing if you set it up as an example, but your own personal private one, I say don't share it. Just from everything I've learned, from what I know, I wouldn't do it. Now, same thing with your ritual tools, everything like that. I would say keep those utterly private. Let's see. What do you need? So incense, candles, table covering, small cabinet or shelf or what have you. Some people, if they're going to make it deity-based or angel-based or spirit-based, what they'll do is they will put a picture, just like a little, I don't know, even a little postcard, and put it up on a stand and put it up in the back of their sacred space, so as they can, they can dedicate their time and energy to that being. I'm not so fond of that, but that's me. You guys know I'm not very religious. But I will say also the other thing you can do if you're working with different deities or different entities, you can actually change them out. That's something I like to do. So if let's say I'm working with Archangel Michael, okay? Let's say that. I will get either a picture or a statue, I'll put it up, and I'll put it on a little stand so it's a little bit raised. I just feel like that's a little bit more respectful. And I'll just, I'll say, hey, this, help me please, da 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 da, stuff like that. Candle, da da da. Oh, and some people love putting out a glass of water as an offering because water is life. So there you go, that too. So you might want to get like a little cup or something, just a little shot glass or a little dollhouse teacup or something, something small, and put it up there. Crystals. Now, one of the things I used to do on my sacred space, and I still love doing it quite a bit, I do crystal grids on it. And what that does, if you orient them right, orient them correctly, they can cover the entire house or property. So if you want protection, luck, prosperity, healing, anything like that, you can actually do a crystal grid and put it on your sacred space. And the more that you go there, the more you light the incense, the more you light the candles, all of a sudden, the more you leave offerings, even if it's just some coins or something like that, all of a sudden, the more that energy is going to grow. The more you put into this, the more you're going to get out of it. So crystal grids are another thing, but you also might want something a little bigger if you're doing crystal grids. Another thing is you absolutely have to keep your sacred space clean. So you want to clean this every week. You want to clean it up every week. And that is both physically cleaning it as well as actually metaphysically cleaning it. So physical, wipe it down, shake everything off. If you want, wash the altar cloth. If you don't feel like it, don't worry about it. I actually keep a small wastebasket not right next to, but in the vicinity, so I can just pull it over, sweep everything off, clean it all up, and put it back. Boom, there you go, done. The other thing is metaphysically clean it, so you're going to want to sage it off. Palo Santo, Palo Santo and cedar and pine are kind of my faves for cleaning stuff off. White selenite is great if you just want to leave it on the altar, although I don't really suggest that because then things can get a little bit too negative spacey. Let's see what else. Oh, keep salt handy under in your little altar cabinet. Keep it handy to kind of just, if you start talking to something and things feel funny, just throw some salt on the sacred space, get it cleared off. That's another thing. Oh, and you can put any herbs for like luck or what have you on sacred space to go along with your meditations and your manifestation rituals. So another thing is, one of the ways you can incorporate it and do this every day, because the more ritual you do, like I said, the closer it's going to bring you to that and the higher that vibe's going to go. One of the things you can do is you can actually meditate by it. You can come in and just every day, just, take off your shoes, go over there, be like, okay, so this is what I need to do. You say your prayers. You can actually designate it as the spot to talk to your guides, your angels, your deities, your ancestors, what have you. I know my friend Antoinette, she's big on meditating in front of hers. I'm not so much for meditation. I'm more moving meditation, so that doesn't really work. But I do like the idea of designating it as a spot to speak with your guides and things like that. Just, go, hey, how are you doing? I thank you for all that you do. Is there anything I can do for you? Stuff like that. Or land spirits if you like, although they're a little trickier. I am actually going to pull Nico O'Neill, the folk witch practitioner. He works a lot with land Veda and land spirits. I'm going to be pulling him on one of these soon to speak about how to work with your land spirits, but that's down the road. Anyway, let's see. Oh, another thing, and this, Antoinette mentioned this to me. She really wanted to mention it on the talk tonight, but she couldn't be here. She's got another house clearing. I guess, and the season's only going to ramp up the closer we get to Halloween, but she's been a busy lady. She wanted me to mention a couple things. One of them was a really good thing to do is if you're worried about something, if you've got a lot of worries, go to your sacred space, worry, get it all out of you. And then, just say, okay, you know what? I've gotten it out. I give it to, God. I give it to my angels. I give it to my spirit guides. I give it to my ancestors, whatever. And just say, okay, now I've got to get back on track. I take my power back. I am good. I am enough. I can do this, and move on from there. But that way you're actually giving your worries to a higher power or somebody that knows more the bigger picture than you do. She said she loves doing that. She also wanted me to mention stuff to keep near your sacred space. So a journal, a list of your goals and dreams. Goals, dreams, drives, things you want. Write down a list and either put it on your sacred space with a candle over it or put it underneath in a little file in your journal. The other thing is she mentioned a book of inspirational quotes. Let's see. Hold on. I made notes because I can't remember everything that she said. Okay. Okay. Yes. Also, a letter. You can write it to your ancestors, deities, guides, or even yourself. Slip it in a book and leave it on your sacred space for manifestation purposes. Now, all these are absolutely awesome. I haven't tried them myself, but she really likes to do it. And considering her success rate with her energy work, I definitely give it a nod. The other thing I wanted to mention, stuff to keep near your sacred space or within that cabinetry thing, a bell or singing bowl. Now that comes from Nicole. She loves it for clearing and meditation, herbs for luck or positivity, crystal grid, journal, list of wants, dreams, goals. That one is from Antoinette. An oracle card with your deity's image on it or a statue. The other thing, though, what I really like to keep in mind is my divination devices. because that way I can pull them out as I need them at my sacred space, which I really enjoy doing. It kind of gives you a clearer read and puts you, I don't know if it just puts you in a better headspace, better mind space, but it gives you a much better way to focus in on what you're doing, and it gives you more clarity in your answers. Hold on. Dennis, what about food for a sacred space? Yes, you can. That is under offerings. That you can leave offerings for it. I am very careful with that because I don't like it to attract pests, but a lot of people love to leave food. So, like breads, fruits, flowers, candies in some cases. You can leave all kinds of stuff. I prefer leaving stuff like coins, water, maybe a cup of tea or coffee. I know a couple of times my spirits have asked me for cigarettes and cigarillos. Now that was interesting. You can, that's another thing. You can actually leave like a cup of rum or vodka or wine there as well, or a beer, depending on what you're working with. But breads are really nice. I really like doing breads. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I like bread. But the other thing, one of the traditions, you actually take a little bit off your plate and you put it, not after you're done, but you actually put it, you take it before you start eating, you put it on a small plate and you put it on the sacred space or the altar or the ofrenda, and that's really neat because it actually includes that in your family dinner. So that's always nice. Hold on. Dennis, would you recommend French toast mozzarella sticks or potato olays? Actually, yeah, you can put any of those on there, but remember, throw it out like you want it 2 days and that's it. But yeah, you could put any of those on there, especially depending on what your guides, angels, ancestors, deities want. That's another thing. You can do an offering of just about anything. Nothing living, no blood, nothing like that. Absolutely not. One, blood is going to mess up a sacred space anyway, and anything living is going to mess it up too. So yuck. No, do not do that. But yeah, that's fine. Let's see. Oh, and as you go along, the other 2 things I really recommend for a sacred space, and this may sound a little religional, but it's really not. It's all about energy work. One is a wand, and normally I prefer to use a clear quartz crystal or a piece of shaped selenite that has a point on it, and that's for energy direction. So that's a wand, but I prefer crystals for those. A lot of people like wood or different things like that, but I'm very much a crystal girl. So, and plus they work a lot better for me. And then the other thing, the second thing I would definitely suggest is an athame. It doesn't have to be sharp, but I recommend it out of either selenite or obsidian. And I'm going to tell you why. Because as y'all know, we all collect energetic cords and things like that. And it's good to have something there when you're at your sacred space. If you're doing this every day, you just come home, make it a habit, come home, pick up the athame and just cut all the energetic cords and return to sender them, because it keeps everything a lot cleaner. It keeps you cleaner. It keeps your home cleaner. It keeps your sacred space cleaner. It just keeps everything more clean, clear, and under control. Hold on, Dennis. Potato olays, yummy. Yes, potato olays are absolutely awesome. I'm a huge potato fan. And I just found a recipe for Irish potato bread that only has like 3 ingredients, so I am there. It's going to be awesome. Anyways, now, one of the things I also get asked is, hey, what happens if my sacred space overgrows? What happens if I'm needing to do more work and I don't have enough space? Well, if you find out that you're needing to do more and put more things up and more candles and things like that, what you do is, because remember, the sacred space, yes, it's your table, your drawer, whatever, but you can actually, it's an area. So you can put shelves over it. You can put TV trays by it. You can put different shelves by it, stuff like that. And you can use those for different workings. But remember to keep your main altar, the one you started with, your main sacred space, that is your main one. That is where you go and you pray and you do whatever. For me, I kind of like to keep mine simple because I don't want it clogged with too much stuff. I mean, that's your first instinct. Just put a whole bunch of stuff on there. No, no. Keep it clean, keep it elegant, keep it simple. One more thing. Let's see. Now, this is something Nicole mentioned because she actually had to move her sacred space. Hold on 1 second here. Dennis, obsidian is sharper than selenite. Yes, that is true. Yes, it is true, and it works really, really well. I only mentioned selenite because I actually enjoy using it to clear quartz. Dennis, I'm hungry. I'm going to go get some potato olays. Well, okay, fine. You're getting potato olays?
Well, Arthur's in the bathtub at the moment. Fix this though.
Okay. Anyway, sorry. Oh, almost choked to death on my own spit earlier. Yeah, I almost messed up being alive real quick there. Anyways, and it's still, yeah. Anyways, okay. So Nicole wanted me to mention this. She had to move her sacred space, and what she said is it's fine. It does feel a little bit different, but basically you need to talk to and communicate with your sacred space, your energy focal point, and tell them what's going on and why. Basically, she wanted me to mention, and this is right, remember that once you pour energy and care into something, it begins to take on a bit of a life of its own, and it will. Hold on. Delia, lol, he came to life. Very true, very true. But it begins to take on not quite a consciousness, but a very, it's almost an animistic viewpoint where everything has a spirit, everything has consciousness. And with your sacred space, the more you pour into it, yes, you'll start to feel its presence. And it will change the energy of your home for the positive. So long as it's well maintained and you actually work with it at least a couple times a week. And if nothing else, work with it once a week. I would definitely recommend once a day. It does help out a lot. Now, I will tell you, I'm not the best with this, but I do recommend it because I do see the results when I work with it more. And you're going to be standing there and you're going to be like, what am I doing at first, but just relax. There's nobody else there. There's nobody else to look at you. This is all about you. You communicating with an energy point within your home. You building that rapport and building a good energetic environment in your home. Now, Nicole also mentioned that when you move, you always want to make sure you have one box and you keep all of those sacred space items in one box. Do not let them wander. You want it all in one so you can put it back up and everything like that. She also wanted me to mention, and I completely forgot about this. I kind of accept it as it is what it is, but because I grew up with this stuff happening. Dad didn't necessarily have a sacred space, but he's a medium. It happened all over the house. There's such a thing as spirit apports. So things that just appear out of nowhere, gifts from spirit. And then also there's stuff that disappears out of nowhere. You're just like, what? I'm not talking about misplaced stuff. I'm talking about stuff that just winks out of existence. And you're like, okay. Dad always used to like to say that that's because somebody else needed it more. And I'm like, okay, but I liked it. I wanted it for me. And so, yeah, it's an interesting point of view to be raised with. But Nicole wanted to make sure that I mentioned that, remember, you have sacred space. If you're working with it, it's going to be active. So stuff might appear and disappear and get moved around on your sacred space while you're working with stuff, or even when you're not looking. So just keep that in mind. So yeah, I think that's about all I have to cover. If you guys have any questions, let me know. And if I have more questions on this, I will definitely do a second part on this talk. But we're at 30 minutes. That's longer than I wanted to go. I apologize for being so scattered. Anyway, I really do believe that every home, every person should have their own sacred space. And it's a really good way to up the vibe of your home, to get you in the right headspace and keep you in the right headspace for day-to-day life, especially in these just tumultuous times we have right now. For different celestial events, you might actually want to light a different color of candle, things like that. Also look up your candle colors, your herbs, everything like that. You guys are going to love it. It's really amazing once you get into it. And remember, different traditions have different designations for planetary phases and candles and herbs and all this stuff. So pick the one that is right for you, that feels right in here. Delia, thank you for sharing. Well, thank you for listening, Delia. Mwah. Love you all. Robert Brantz, is it okay to have all my herbs on shelves around my sacred space? Actually, yes, it's perfect. It's a perfect place for them because they're also going to be blessed as well. Those herbs must pack a lot of punch. They must be kind of just vibing and chilling out there. If you have all your herbs around them, what you might want to do is maybe put a couple living plants there too, as well as possibly a Himalayan salt lamp. Just a thought. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much space you have or anything, Robert. But by the way, thanks for joining in. And great question. But yeah, definitely. Absolutely. I really like that idea. That is neat. That must look neat. But don't share any pictures because, yeah, pictures are no. But yeah, so awesome, guys. Love you all. Follow us on Des Moines New Age Radio. I apologize that the uploads haven't been going through lately. Mercury retrograde has played hell with everything. I tried to upload the programs at least 5 times each, and I finally got them up yesterday. So, but please follow Des Moines New Age Radio on Spotify. And okay, hold on, Delia, I do have a big salt lamp. Honestly, I love Himalayan salt lamps. I really like them. I enjoy them. I've got them all through my house. I just love them. The nice thing is my Webster loves them too. But when he was little, he used to eat the salt off of them. I thought it was so funny. But yeah, a big salt lamp would make a great focal point for a sacred space. And then you put your crystals or whatever around it. It would be really, really neat. I think that would look beautiful. But yeah, so good night, everyone. I love to you all. Mwah. Thank you for joining me. And like, comment, subscribe. Ask me questions in the comments. If you have any, I will be checking back over the next few days. Also for scammers, And by the way, anybody who is contacting you through here that says they're psychic and to message them, just no, they are horrible people. We don't endorse them. Yeah. All right. And Delia, good night. Good night, dear. Mwah. Loves to you all. I am going to do the outro and wish you guys well.